Vatican Church has always been popular across Latin America. The most prominent faith in the continent is central to the politics and culture in all nations of the region. And with Pope Jorge Mario Bergoglio belonging from the same place, the Vatican has cemented its position in the continent. Ushered into Latin America by European colonizers, Catholicism still remains a strong faith, even amongst the indigenous population. The faith is steady, but relations with the Vatican have begun to turn sour. Nicaragua has attacked the Vatican for being a dictatorship and mouthing Western propaganda. But why did it make such an allegation? Let's find out. Hi and welcome to TFIGlobal Latin America, TFIGlobal's channel dedicated to the America in the Americas. I am your host Ananya Sharma. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. If you're watching us on Facebook, do like, share and follow the page. Let's begin. On February 6th, 4 Catholic priests in Nicaragua were sentenced to 10 years in prison. The court found them guilty of conspiring against the government. A day before, another priest was given a 10-year jail sentence for the same offences. The verdicts were handed down to individuals who had been associated with Rolando Alvarez, the Bishop of Matagalpa. Alvarez is currently facing charges of conspiracy and undermining the Nicaraguan government. Nicaragua's President Daniel Ortega has accused the Vatican Church of conspiring against the government. Most people in Nicaragua are Catholic. Catholic authorities frequently supported the conservative elite of the nation under Ortega. A lot of protests have been happening against Ortega in the country. The Nicaraguan Church has shown notably strong support for the protesters' cause. The church served as a shelter for student protesters and a venue to gather food and funds to support them. Nicaragua President Daniel Ortega has alleged that the protests were conducted with the assistance of foreign powers and the Catholic Church's approval. It is important to remember that the Catholic Church in Nicaragua had an affiliation with the dictatorship of Somozas from the 1930s until the 1970s. Somozas ruled Nicaragua for 4 decades. But the church stepped away from politics after allegations of oppressive actions by the dictatorship came to light. Vatican's relations with West-backed corrupt governments in Latin America is not new. And now, Daniel Ortega has picked up a fight with the Vatican. The tussle between Ortega and church isn't recent. Ortega had been a part of the Marxist guerrilla movement and assumed control of Nicaragua in 1979. After the revolutionaries overthrew the President Somoza's dictatorship, Ortega was highly criticized by the Vatican in the 1980s. Thus, as soon as Ortega took power, he declared war on the Vatican. Just days before his 4th consecutive election in 2018, he accused the nation's Catholic bishops of serving the interests of the Yankees, that is, Americans. He went on to label the bishops as terrorists. Though Ortega is a devout Roman Catholic, he has distanced himself from the church he believes mouths propaganda of the Western elite. He said, "As a Christian, I don't feel represented." Last year, Ortega called the church a perfect dictatorship. He justified by saying that its members are unable to elect the Pope and the church lacked democracy. He said, if they are going to be democratic, let them start with Catholics voting for the Pope, for cardinals, for bishops. It is clear that the Nicaraguan government is determined to protect its sovereignty and that it views the Vatican as an enemy. This is the first time a third world Catholic nation has stood up to the Vatican. The church needs to realize that it's a religious organization. Serving the interests of a few Western elite while ignoring millions of Christians in need is a disservice to the faith. It is important for it to rethink its priorities or else stand losing its religious authority.